It's only because like you don't know what you don't know. And you have to figure it out. And then once you don't, it's like, oh, maybe that deer right beside me was actually gonna turn into the Wendigo.
In a world where we have so many spooks that are out there, all of the big monsters that want to jump out of the bushes and attack you, I wanted to talk a little bit about the beauty of not doing jump scares. Because,
Ah.
frankly, I find that jump scares, while they occasionally are effective, are not really what I want from a horror game or an atmosphere, because they don't really build an atmosphere for me. It just makes me think something's gonna try to jump out at me.
Yeah, they're kind of
5
a
seconds.
very effective but very cheap trick.
Yeah, it's the whole thing that Alfred Hitchcock would talk about with the bomb under the table. You know, it's like a bomb goes off under the table. There's no tension to that. It goes off, everything explodes, end of story. But if you tell people that there's a bomb under a table, then you've created tension. And you don't want that to explode. The jump scare for me is the explosion. It's bleh, and so for 5 seconds, whoa, and then what? It's like, okay, well now I know that that's happening, so it's just gonna happen again. I know that something's gonna jump out at me, and it's kind of it has diminishing returns past that. However, if you create an atmosphere where there is the continuous feeling of a tension or something being out of place, something that feels wrong, all of a sudden your entire experience gives you this sense of anxiety. And I've talked about Green Hell before. I think that that's actually a good example of that, because it builds all of its mechanics around the idea of constantly being paranoid about everything that's happening in your environment. But it doesn't do jump scares, really. The few times that you might have that is like when all of a sudden, you know, the leopard jumps out at you, you know, and then you have to deal with that. But it really is focused on continuously making you worried about everything around you, from dirt to parasites to like getting a scar or a crack or an infection, that everything around you is trying to kill you, and you just have to deal with the fact that that's going to happen. So you have continuous tension there.
I think there's an even better example of atmospheric horror, however.
Okay.
And that would be in the example of games that are in the backrooms.
Okay, sure. So
or
the
any of
spaces.
the liminal space games,
Sure.
yeah. The backrooms, the pool rooms. I was gonna ask if you think maybe even Exit 8, for instance, would fall into this category
Yes,
a bit.
I do. Because I do have to say, for the time that I was with it, there weren't really jump scares so much. There were a couple times where I was like going, whoa, and had to like walk away. But at the same time, the majority of that, it just continually gives you the feeling that something is intrinsically wrong, because you're primed to look for what's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
That's like the whole game, is looking for the anomaly. And seeing
there's
that
been so many
wrong.
of those. And since that game came out, there have been so many other games.
Yeah.
As gaming trends do these days, one game hits it big with the YouTube scene.
Yep.
Just with people, and suddenly everyone's like, "Oh yeah, we've all been working on these games. Here's 20 more." Tension without the release. Jump scare is a release of tension, or a monster is a release, because suddenly you can see the thing that you're scared of.
Yeah.
But if there's nothing there that you're actually scared of,
yeah,
then it's like, all right, well, it's just ramping up tension, and you can do that through different lighting effects, like dark rooms, corners. A lot of different architecture can cause that.
Yeah.
It's super interesting because it's just all atmospheric at that point.
Sure. Another good example of this is actually what they did with like Control. Because that, you know, I mentioned it in the first segment, but Control is one of those games where a lot of the like horror or the scary things is what they're not showing you. that they're purposely not showing you. Like the fridge is a really good example of that, where you're there's a guy and he's like, he has to look at the fridge because you have to somebody has to always be monitoring the fridge. You can't like blink for a second, and then so you see that, and then you go around and you hear a scream, and like something has happened. And when you go in to now look at the fridge, you're now observing the fridge again. You just see like the blood splatter, and that their person is gone. You don't know where they are. Well, they've actually made sure that you didn't see the jump scare. You don't know what happened, but you're now in the room where the thing happened. And it's very disconcerting because you get the feeling like whatever terrible thing occurred, you are now in that room where it did happen. There's a certain level of that where you see audio, where you hear audio logs in the game, or you see video footage and you're not seeing what actually happened, but then realize that you're in the place where it did. And now are wondering, because, you know, like the imagination is where horror really drives the participants. There's nothing as scary on screen as can happen in the human mind. So,
which is why cosmic horror, and Cthulhuian horror, Lovecraftian, I suppose, why those are great is because typically they're the only things you can imagine.
Right. And then the problem comes when you have, like when they did the Call of Cthulhu game, and then it's like, but also the thing that you're scared of is the monster with the big claws that's now trying to hunt you, so it's there. You know that unimaginable thing that you can't imagine? Yeah, it's that monster with the claws over there.
Yeah, I would have done something. For me, I would have been like, the thing that you're scared of is in the darkness that's coming towards you, and it's like an unnatural, like sprawling darkness made of smoke. Yeah. That's a representation of the thing, but you maybe you see a pair of eyes, but that's all you see in it.
Ooh, I got a Doctor Who reference for you. It's the Vashta Nerada.
I mean, the shadows will consume you.
Yeah.
Who turned out the lights?
Those are great, too, because when you start to think about it, you are in an unknown environment. The dark is an unknown environment. You can't really witness it when you're in it. So, what could be there? We don't know. And if you have jump scares, well, I know what's there. I just experienced it. Congratulations, Michael Myers is right there. Well, Michael Myers standing in front of me with the machete is nowhere near as terrifying as knowing Michael Myers is around and having no freaking idea where he is. Like, that's the far, far superior thing.
So, another one that is not jump scares and is visually horror. Are you familiar with what LiDAR is?
A little bit?
You're going in blind, but you've got a headset and like this handheld device that can scan.
Oh, okay.
In the game. So you cannot visually see anything except you're using like a radar or a LiDAR device, as it is rather. And it sends out things and it will measure the environment, but only a little bit at a time. So you're getting still images back, but in like dot form.
Yeah.
So horror done in this is really great because you might hear something, do a scan, and there's something there that wasn't there before.
There's a thing that I've seen done occasionally, which is sort of in the same vein, and every time they try it, it's like, this feels very effective to me, is where they're getting like screenshots like every 10 seconds of the area, and like then you see something and it like, oh, that looks bad, and then then you're like trying to wait 10 seconds to see what the next image is, and it's like you piecing together what happened in the interim between those two things.
Yeah.
That's the real like, wait, what? No, I don't like that at all. Like I feel like that's something that I don't see enough in games, where like if you're out in the middle of a cabin in the woods and you have trail cams set up, and you get a notification, and the trail cams will only take a picture like every 10 seconds or something like that. And then you're getting it back like, oh, there's motion on the sensor. And you see like this eye like looking at the screen. And then you have to wait 10 seconds to see where it is. And then the next one comes back and there's nothing there. Like no one's there. Oh, where the hell did it go? Oh, we like the other trail cam just got a sensor. Oh, what's there? You know, and it's like now you're starting to like piece together. Oh, damn, where the hell is the thing?
It's kind of like when we played Oh Dear.
Yes, it's exactly like that. That's exactly what we're talking about. It's like Oh Dear.
It's only because like you don't know what you don't know. And you have to figure it out. And then once you don't, it's like, oh, maybe that deer right beside me was actually gonna turn into the Wendigo.
So that's always
It's
fun.
different, but you know, it's not a jump scare game, and it's barely a horror game, but there are some little terrifying bits in it.
Just having Big Boogeyman come at you is much easier. But like, I've seen a few like Friday the 13th movies, and I never found them scary at all because it's like. Yeah, I get it. Jason's gonna go kill a bunch of people. Alright.
I'm in the same boat. Jump scares are not really the thing that I care about.
Yeah. Oh, there's a bunch of teens that are in the cabin. Oh, gee, I wonder what's gonna happen here.
They're gonna kill each other. It's like that one game.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Until Dawn, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I was thinking of that or like The Quarry. Those are both kind of in the same vein. One of those narrative games that where everybody dies.
It's just you're making your own horror movie. It's fine.
Yeah. I would say that that's a spoiler, but honestly, I'd never played it, so I don't even know if everybody dies or if that's even a possibility, but I'm gonna guess.
Don't know. Can't remember.
If you, out there in TV land, have any thoughts about, like, games that were able to skirt around jump scares that still gave you the sense of a horror movie or a horror experience, please let us know in the comments down below. You know, what about it do you find interesting? If you do like jump scares, I am kind of wondering, you know, why? What is it about it? Is there an adrenaline rush that goes with it that you appreciate or not? I don't know. But I think the slow burn or the imaginative nature of it is just far more interesting for me, for a narrative and a gameplay standpoint. Those are the ones that stick with me. Is that kind of thing. So you can let us know though in the comments down below.